At just 21 years old, McKella Leeper is already making waves, literally and figuratively. From her competitive swim days to becoming a high school teacher and coach, McKella shares her love for swimming, her creative ABC's Adventure Challenge, and what it's like navigating newlywed life with her husband. It's a fun and refreshing conversation about passion, purpose, and embracing life's journey, one stroke at a time.
Welcome to Journey with Jake. This is a podcast about adventure and how through our adventures we can overcome the challenges of life that come our way. While I expect you will learn some things about different adventures, this show will entertain you. Each episode will feature a different guest or guests as they share experiences and stories from the different adventures they have been on. Not only will you be entertained, but you will also hear the failures and trials each guest faces and what they have done or are doing to overcome the hardships that come their way. My goal is to take each of us on a journey through the experiences of my guests with the hope that you'll be entertained and inspired to overcome your day-to-day challenges. After all, it's not all about the destination as it is about the journey.
Welcome to Journey with Jake. I'm your host, Jake Bushman. If you haven't already, be sure to follow along on Instagram at Journey with Jake Podcast for updates, behind the scenes content, and more. You can also subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platform and catch video episodes on YouTube. It's a great way to watch the conversations unfold. And a big shout out to the Podmatch Podcast Network, of which Journey with Jake is a part of. Today's episode features the energetic and inspiring McKella Leeper. At just 21, McKella has already carved out a path as a swim coach and brand new high school teacher. We dive into her journey through competitive swimming, her close bond with her family and faith, her creative ABC's Adventure Challenge, and how she's adjusting to life as a newlywed. If you enjoyed this episode, I highly recommend checking out episode 115 with Brianna Medvecki, another driven and passionate young woman whose story of resilience and adventure will inspire you just the same. All right, let's get to my conversation with McKella. All right, well, I'm excited today. I have McKella on the show with me today. McKella, welcome to Journey with Jake.
Thanks. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, this is fun. All right, so I told you, we're going to kind of go over your swimming thing. Your Instagram does say, what is it, MCK_swims is your Instagram handle, I believe. So swimming. So obviously, we got to talk about swimming, and we will. However, I'm going to do a little monologue here because I kind of want to let the audience know a little bit how I find people and how I go about it sometimes. So a couple ways. I'm part of Podmatch Network. So people reach out to me and want to be on the show through that network, which is great. I get a lot of referrals from people. So that's great as well. The other way, and the way I found you, is through social media and through Instagram. And I came across MCK_swims. The way I do it, though, is it's usually just dead scrolling, like reels. And somehow yours popped up. And then what I do is I typically get it. It pops up. I'm like, oh, this person seems interesting. They'll be good for the show. And then I go to your profile and I screenshot it and save it. And then I forget about it and I go about doing whatever. I looked at yours over a year ago. That's when yours popped up.
No way.
It was over a year ago because I've had so many guests between now and then, whether it's referrals or people through the network or whatever. And so whenever I get a moment where I'm like, you know what, I want to go back to who people I saved for whatever reason. And so I'm like, let me do that with MCK, McKella, MK. I'm going to say MK probably a lot here.
Sounds good.
Everyone else calls you MK. I'll call you MK. So I was doing that and I came across you and I was like, all right, it says, and I couldn't remember the reel. Like I couldn't remember why. It's got to be about swimming. It's got to be because her thing says MCK_swims. That's her Instagram handle. It's got to be about swimming. And then normally I'll evaluate a little bit, like, well, maybe not, and I was looking at your posts and they're not all about swimming. A lot of it's about your faith and about your husband, fits, things like, I'm not a fit person, but fits, things like that. So, but I'm like, I still want to reach out to her for whatever reason. It came to me like, I think she's still got a good story. I don't know why. Let's reach out. So I did, and you responded and you asked me, hey, what kind of questions did you ask me? And I mostly said swimming stuff. We're probably going to talk swimming a lot, which we will. We'll still get into that. So as I went back, I was like, what was it? Could I find the reel? Could I realize it again? And I figured it out. You did a little segment called like Adventures ABC or ABC Adventures.
ABC Adventures.
And that's what must have triggered my algorithm because this is an adventure podcast.
Yeah.
That had to have been it. So I'm going to start my question for you. The first question. This is usually how I end my show. I'm going to start with it. For you, McKella, what does adventure mean to you?
For me, adventure comes in a lot of different ways. Obviously, like getting in the pool, getting out there, but it's really just getting out of the house and doing new things. Because to me, if you're doing the same hike every single week, that's really not adventuring to me. I like going out doing different things, whether it's four-wheeling, hiking with my family or my dog or my husband, or traveling to new places, just seeing as much as you can see and doing as much as you can do. That's kind of how I define adventure.
And let's talk about ABC Adventures for just a few minutes.
Okay.
Again, sorry, you had no idea this was going to happen.
Oh, no,
so
I love that. I actually me and my husband are doing it now.
Okay, perfect. So tell me, what was the idea behind it? How did you come up with the idea that, hey,
so this started back in 2024. It was my New Year's goal. I was like, I am sick and tired. Husband, who's my now husband, he was on a mission and I was still talking to him, but I was like, I'm sick and tired of waiting around. I'm going to go on dates, but I also don't want to rely on other people for dates, but I want to get out of the house every single week. And I knew I wouldn't do that unless I had like ideas. And I had seen couples do ABC dating. And I was like, well, what's stopping me from doing that? So I was like, I'm just going to start this ABC Adventures and kind of record. Because if I have to record it, I'm going to have to do it anyways.
Exactly.
So I kind of told myself, okay, this is my way of getting out of the house, out of my dorm every single week and doing something for me and just kind of giving back to me. Because I was in school full time. I was doing student teaching and all that stuff. And it was very overwhelming. So that was kind of a nice little check-in for me to like, okay, take some time to go adventure and get out of the house and do something that's purely just for the fun of it.
I love it. And I looked at a few of them. I didn't watch all of them, but I scrolled through your stories of them real quickly. So I kind of understood. Tell me a couple of them, like anyone in particular that kind of jumps out like, oh yeah, that one. And what I love too, they weren't all just like pie in the sky, like hard to do. There were some simple things too that you can do.
There were some really easy ones. Probably one of my favorites. It was the week of my mom's birthday. And I was like, Mom, I have to do a V date. Like, I don't know what to do. And she's like, well, I've always wanted to go up to Sundance Resort and ride the ski lift to the top and like go get nachos. Like, can we do that for my birthday? And I'm like, yes. And I'll call it Views for V. Like, we'll see a cool view. And that one was just like a fun little mommy-daughter date. And we just like spent the whole day together, saw gorgeous views. Like, I don't know if you've ever been to Sundance, but it is so pretty. And like everything was so green. We ended up like hiking down and kind of getting lost. And that was an adventure in and of itself. But that was just a fun little memory with me and my mom because with two other sisters, it's kind of hard to get alone time with her.
Nice. Okay. V for Views. Okay. So that was whatever week that there was 26 letters. So you did it. So basically a half a year. You were a half a year.
Yeah. So it was perfect timing. So I started in January. I think I started the second week of January because I took a week off. And then I went all the way until the first or second week of July. And then the missionary, who's now my husband, got home like 2 weeks later. So it was like something to also help me just like keep me distracted from the fact that he was coming home and I had no idea what was going on. I was like, we're just going to go on these adventures. So that was fun.
Was there some things that it taught you? There's any life lessons in any of these adventures that you had?
Yeah, it taught me that it's really easy to get inside yourself, but it's also really easy to get outside of yourself, if that makes sense. Because I would find myself like throughout the week, I would just get super down on myself like, oh my gosh, I'm not working out enough. I'm not studying hard enough. I'm not spending enough time with my friends, blah, blah, and like just telling myself all these things. And then the weekend would come and I was like, oh, I need to do my ABC adventure. And it was my choice to connect with people or connect with myself or do something fun. And I realized how much control I had over my situation versus my situation had on me.
It's a great way to look at it. I think a lot of times, me in particular, I kind of get inside myself too, inside my head a little bit. And you start telling yourself these things. I think that kind of helped force you to get out of it a little bit and reach 100%. Out to others and do things. I think a couple of them that I remember, was there an ice bath involved? Was that the letter I?
Oh my gosh, yes. That was awful. But it was like, me and my cousin did that one together because I was like, girl, I need an eye date. So we woke up at, I think it was like 6 a.m. We did an ice bath that morning. It was so cold, but it was like a fun little bonding moment with me and my cousin because she was down in St. George with me at the time. So that one was her idea. She had to talk me into it, but I was like, okay, I need to do it. I need to do something. But
awesome.
Now I like jump into lakes, no question.
Wow.
I mean, I did that before anyways, but.
Yeah, but just the idea, I think the idea behind it.
Yeah, ice baths, kudos to people that do it every morning. I am not one of them. I would wake up at like 4:30 in the morning and hop in a cold pool, but sitting in a tub of ice not doing anything is like my brain doesn't know what to do. It's like I want to swim.
I've never done it. I've heard it does great things for you. I've heard it's good for your body, but I've never tried it. So maybe I need
I
to
mean,
do
I
that.
felt very energized after, so I guess it worked, but I would take swimming an hour and a half workout over a 5-minute ice bath any day.
Amazing. I love it. All right. You talked swimming there at the end.
I
Perfect.
did.
We're going to talk about swimming. Before we do all that, and usually this is what I typically do, and I know I kind of went off on a little tangent here with the whole ABCs, but I was like, I think that was the whole reason the algorithm hit, anyway, that's how I found out about you over a year ago, and then we connected now. I want to know a little bit about who you are, kind of just some of your background, where you're from. You mentioned sisters. I think you said you have sisters. So just kind of, a little bit about your family and who you are a little bit.
So I'm the oldest of 3 girls. We've born and raised in Utah. We also have a huge fur family. So right now we have my parents, that's weird saying like my parents' house, but my parents have 3 dogs, 4 cats. I've been house sitting for them and I basically am their aunt now because I hang out with them all the time. I'm like, these fur babies are my actual babies. So big fur family, big fur like family. But when we were younger, we used to live like over 30 minutes away from my dad's work. So he wasn't around a lot. And then when I was going into 6th grade, no, 4th grade? Yeah. When I was going into 4th grade, we made the decision to move. So we were 5 minutes from my dad's work. And part of that deal was that my dad would start taking us and coaching us at swim because he grew up swimming and he swam for, I think, his sister swam for BYU. And then he was actually a walk-on at the University of Utah. And he was like an amazing swimmer. So that was like his way of like, hey, I want time with my daughters. And so I had tried gymnastics, tumbling, ice skating, a little bit of dance and tap. I had tried everything and nothing had really stuck. I was kind of like, okay, maybe I'll stay with ice skating. And then we moved and I was like, okay, guess I'm going to try swim. And it was so much fun. I loved it and ended up swimming all through high school. I managed part of our college team. I wasn't fast enough to swim, but I just love being around the sport. And my dad started a team for our local community over the summers and he's passed it down to me and I've been running it for the past 3-4 years and it's just kind of grown and it's a huge part of like me and my dad's bond and like me and my sisters. It's our designated like time with dad. So that's kind of us. And obviously I just got married a month ago. So that was kind of a big change. So now we're still close to family, but like 30 minutes away. But so lots of big things this year, graduated college and going to be a teacher in the fall.
Wow. Yeah. I've noticed that kind of looking at your Instagram, just so many things. I mean, obviously getting married is a huge thing, but you also graduated. You're going to be a teacher. I mean, you've got so many things going on.
It's been crazy.
Yeah. How do you keep your head above water?
I am a huge like write it down person. Like everything goes in my head and I start to overthink and I like will notice myself getting stressed. So my husband's really good at like helping me. He's like, okay, sit down. We're going to write out what we need to do today and then we'll get it done. So like throughout the week, I'll be like, okay, this week I have these shifts. I need to do these things for work, these things for home, plan for these trips or whatever. And that's one thing that I love about like the ABC Adventures is it gives me like a designated time. Like, okay, no, like every single week you have to do something. So that's every single week me and my husband have to do a date together. Like, because yes, we live together, but we wanted that time where it's like, okay, we need to plan to do something. And so planning stuff out helps keep my brain organized and like writing it down, whether it's on like a whiteboard or just in my planner on my phone, just having it all scheduled out is a big help.
I love seeing this. I love seeing someone who's young and married because it just reminds me, I've been married over 26 years and it's like, yeah, you still gotta do those things throughout your whole marriage, and sometimes I'm like, thank you, McKella. That's a good reminder. You need to make sure. Yeah, I need to talk to my wife. Let's schedule some things. Let's do some things. So I appreciate learning that from you. That's why I like doing this podcast. I learn so many things from, doesn't matter how old, how young, how whatever.
Yeah.
I learned something for sure. Going back to the whole swimming thing, sounds like you're pretty active then. Ice skating, gymnastics, all kinds of different things you were doing. Throughout that whole time, were you always involved with swim though, no matter what, while you're still trying the other things?
No, so those were all when I was like kindergarten through 3rd grade. And then we moved and I was doing tumbling a little bit after we moved, but I just kept hurting myself and I didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed swimming. And it was really hard to balance 2 sports. So I decided, okay, I'll do dad's sport and stick with swimming. And so pretty much, I think it was like 6th grade on, it was just swim.
Gotcha. Okay. So prior to that, but obviously, I'm thinking with a dad who's a swimmer, you've got to have you were probably in
We
the
were
water at a
always
young
in the
age.
water, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, we had summer swim lessons at, like, a neighbor's swim like, a neighbor's backyard pool or something like that, and then my grandma also had, like, one of those above ground, like,
Yeah.
backyard pool you know, the, like, blue
Huh?
ones that
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
had? She had one of those, and so we would go over on the weekends and just dad would put us in the pool. He was someone that refused to put us in, like, puddle jumpers. He was in the water playing with us the whole time. So and now that I, like, help with swim lessons, I'm so grateful he did that because there are some kids that are, like, petrified of the water because 'cause they've never gotten their face wet. So,
Yeah. I think I was probably in that category.
no, I'm like, it's very coachable, but I was like, I feel so bad for these swim coaches right now, like, it's hard to get over a fear of water, so I was very grateful
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
parent that would get in the water with me and play around with me.
For sure. I'm guessing your dad must have taught you a lot because you coach now as well.
Yeah,
What kind
no.
of things did he instill in you?
So that's one thing that's really interesting is my dad is not a talkative person at all. So like me and my mom, we have very deep conversations. I call her like my unpaid therapist. But my dad, his is a lot more I learned from his example. And so he was my swim coach from a very young age. And I saw the impact that he had on these kids' lives. And then all throughout high school, seeing how he was able to foster kind of love. It was almost like they were his children too. And like he just loved them and cared for them and got so excited for their successes that it kind of impacted me. And he was like, "Hey, like, do you want to come coach this team with me?" And we both worked on that team for that first year in our local community. And then he was like, "Well, I don't have enough time to manage this. I trust you to do it." And him showing that trust in me was a huge confidence booster. And he's always been there to be like, "Hey, like, dad, I need some help." And I get a lot of parent emails that are like, "Oh, you're doing this wrong. You're doing this wrong. You're doing this wrong." And he's always someone I can go to and I'm like, "Hey, dad, I am so worried about this." And he just like lets it all roll off his back. So that's been a super great example to me is don't take the critics too seriously and just trust yourself and trust your gut and trust that you know what you're doing. And that leading with love is a lot more powerful than leading with fear. Because I had a swim coach that definitely led with fear. And it was a very different dynamic than my dad's team, where he led with that love. Both of them had very fast swimmers, but the team atmosphere of leading with love was something that I loved to be a part of. And inspired me to kind of build a team of love and camaraderie and support as I'm a swim coach.
How do you deal with that criticism though when that criticism comes? That would be tough. And I've seen it just when my kids were in little league and stuff. You see people going up to the coach and complaining, and I feel bad because they're especially like a little league or something. They're volunteering. How do you deal with that?
Cry, definitely. But it's gotten better as like the years have gone on. And obviously, like there's still things that happen that I definitely know I need to work on. And that's what's the hardest is I'm like, oh wait, like if they do strike a core and it's like, okay, wait, I actually do need to work on that. But I think also trusting that everybody has good intent. They're not yelling at you because they hate you. They're yelling at you because they want the best for their kids. And so kind of taking everything at that angle has given me a lot more empathy for them and trying to see where they're coming from versus, oh my gosh, they hate me. I am the worst person ever. It's, oh no, these people really, really care about their kids. I am so happy that these kids have such passionate parents. How can I help them help me make their kids better? And so kind of showing them that, no, we're on the same team. We both have good intents for your children and kind of flipping this instead of they're attacking me. It's, oh, they're trying to improve me as a coach for their kids.
I love that. Just kind of grasping what you do. I mean, it's incredible because you're very young. I mean, what are you, 22? I don't know.
21.
21.
It's 22.
So, okay, let's talk. So this is a summer league type of swim group. Kind of give me the base of what this is. Okay.
So basically it's just for the summer, it's at the local community pool. We have like 3 different levels. They only come for 40 minutes and they come for every day. It's kind of changed throughout the years, but basically we just get them for the summer. They race against each other 3 times. So once every month. And our goal as a swim team is to foster lifelong swimmers. So we want to foster a love for the sport and good technique because so many teams right now are doing what I call garbage yardage, where they're just like, all right, go swim 3,000 yards. I'll see you at the end. And our approach is, okay, we're going to do a lot of drills and a lot of foundation building stuff because little kids, like, they can't build muscle, but they can build muscle memory. So if you build good technique now, when they're older and can actually build that muscle mass, they're going to build it with good technique, which is faster and healthier for them. And it'll help them be a lifelong swimmer and it's a kind of stepping stool up to the more competitive like county rec teams or whatnot.
Gotcha. So would you say it's like young kids then, or what's kind of the age range?
I have a 6-year-old right now, and my oldest is 14. So
Okay.
it's kind of a big range. And last year, I think, no, he was 14 too. So yeah, 14 is kind of the max. I think
Okay.
he might have been 15. But yeah, so it's 6. I think the youngest I had once was 5, but they were struggling to keep up. 6-year-old is kind of the sweet spot, and then up to 14. But there's those 3 different levels, so they're kind of mixed in, but it's definitely more of like an introductory swim team, getting people excited, working on their technique. I do have a couple swimmers every summer that like I find out are in 9th grade and they're like, I'm going to try out for my high school team, and they make it. So that's kind of
Okay.
exciting.
I wondered
So-
about that. I mean, is there some of them, have you had some that have gone on to high school teams and things like that? So
Yeah.
you said yes. What's that like, knowing that, hey, you're a part of maybe kind of helping
It's
that?
so fun. And especially now that I'm like going, because with a teaching job I got, I'm teaching at the high school that all of these kids that I've coached for years are going up to. And it's so exciting and so fun. I know there's at least 2 that I've coached from this summer swim team that are on the high school team where I'm going to be coaching. And it's so fun to like see their growth, because I got them when they were like wee little babies. They didn't even know breaststroke and butterfly. And here they are competing at high school. Some of them I'm hoping by their senior year will make it to state. But just seeing kind of their growth is so inspiring. And it just, I don't know, that's why I coach, is I coach to see their journey. I don't coach to coach Olympians. I coach to see everyone improve and to grow. And that's my favorite part, is now seeing them go from like little summer swimmers to big high school kids.
Tell me a little bit about your high school career, because you said you weren't fast enough to make it at the college level, and these swimmers are fast these days.
They
But
are
these swimmers
so
are so
fast.
fast. I don't know how they do it. What was it like for you in high school? What was the best part? What was the worst part?
So the worst part was definitely COVID. I went on the news for it because our pool kicked the high schoolers out, but as like a county patron, I could pay to go use the lanes at the same time the high schooler was supposed to have it. It was a weird situation. So we were like, hey, county, if random patrons can come use it, why can't high schoolers that are like rented your lanes for the day can't? Their excuse was like, well, there's too many of you. You're going to spread COVID, blah, blah, blah. We ended up getting our pool time back, so they were in the wrong. But that was definitely the worst. And like figuring out that self-motivation and getting to the pool and knowing that like you might not have an entire team, or you might not have another meet for the rest of the season. Like we had no idea what was going on. So working through COVID definitely set me back and was like a tough mental and physical battle, because getting in the pool by yourself and then also not having your teammates to cheer you on and support you and like for a couple weeks was
Were you
really tough.
Sophomore or junior when that happened? When
Sophomore.
2020
So
hit?
my first little bit of sophomore year was normal, and then as we got on, it was kind of a little wonky. And then my junior year was when it was like we were back, but it was very, very, very restricted. Like every other week we had to go get COVID tests. Our coaches were outside the pool doors taking our temperature, and like if someone that you were in your lane with got COVID, the whole lane had to go home and quarantine for, was it 2 weeks? It was rough.
Wow.
It felt like the Hunger Games. Like people were just leaving school left and right. So that was really hard to deal with. And that's when because I was a captain my junior year. And so that's when all of us captains went to the school board and the news and were like, hey, this is happening. If patrons can have the pool, we as a team need our pool time back. So that was definitely the hardest.
Good for you. Wow.
Thank you.
That took some courage, right? I mean, that's got to be a little scary.
It was really scary. Like I even sent an email to the mayor, and that was probably the scariest part, was like, oh my gosh, like what's she going to say? I don't think she ever saw it. I think it was like her assistant, but getting that email back and they were just like, it's been resolved. I'm like, well, yeah, because I went to the news and spoke in front of the school board. Like, I know. So that was kind of tricky. But probably my favorite part was my senior year, because that was the first year where it was like, 0 restrictions, everyone's back. I felt like kind of the mom of the team, because I had been there for a couple years. And since I was the coach's daughter, I in my head was like, oh my gosh, I have to do everything to prove that I am here because I am fast and I am good, not just because like my dad's the coach. And so senior year, everyone knew like, oh no, she's actually fast. Like I was on the A relays. I was 0.03 seconds from breaking the school record. I had been like that for like a whole year. Thank you, COVID. I blame it on
Wow.
that, but also it was like a weird mental block. So everyone was like, okay, she's fast. She knows what she's doing. And like they had that respect for me. And it was a really fun relationship to kind of build that team spirit. And I had really great co-captains too that helped with that. But that was the year where I finally broke the school record. And it was at my very last race ever. So the way swimming works in high school Utah is you have prelims and then finals. So prelims day is when you qualify for finals, and you want to go fastest in prelims because if you score the top 8 in prelims, you're automatically guaranteed top 8 at finals. It doesn't matter if someone that scored 9th in prelims breaks the state record, because they're in that secondary heat, they will not get first.
Really?
It's so weird. It bugged me every single year because
I'm trying to
got
wrap my head around
9th.
that.
No, I was always 9th place coming in from prelims. So I got the 9th fastest time the day before. And then on finals day, I always would have been like 4th or 5th if you had like done
But
our
it
times.
didn't matter because you
But
were
it didn't
in
matter because I was in the consolation final. So my time wasn't a medal race. It was
Interesting.
just a timed race. So very annoying. But I had senior year, I was like, okay, this is the year I'm going to make it to finals. I'm going to get a medal. I did not. I went home and cried after prelims. It was the worst day of my life. I had to ride home on the bus with our rival team with a girl who had just broken her school record in my event. I was like, this is awful. I was just bawling my eyes out, crying in the back of the bus. My mom's texting me. She's like, are you okay? I'm like, just leave me alone. I want to cry. And then I don't know what switch I flipped in my brain, but I came back the next day ready to race. I was just like, okay, this is it. After this, I am not swimming anywhere. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. And it was just something of like, this is my last time to break that record, be with my team, be with my dad as my coach. And the weirdest feeling, like coming behind the blocks when they were like calling the race, because they say all your names before. And I was the last name they had said because I was the fastest swimmer in that heat. And they always say the fastest swimmer's name last. And so it was just like, they said my name, and this feeling of just like, you know, when people say you get in, I was in the zone. I don't know what it was, but it was just like, I've got this race. It's so good. And my mom was up in the stands filming, and I like could watch that video on repeat, but I just dive in, and you can see from the moment I hit that water, I'm like still in the zone. And I stayed in it for a whole 100 yards, and I ended up breaking the record by over a second, which in swimming is insane. So something just with the team cheering, and I had a coach tell me at a state meet like 2 years back, when you hit the wall, don't look at your time, listen to the crowd. And that meet, I knew, like I hit the wall and I knew I had the record. I was like, okay, I probably got I beat the record by 0.2, but I know I have it. Like I know I went fast. So I hit the wall and I listened. I can hear my mom and all of the parents, because they've seen me for the last 3 years swimming, working my butt off at this race. I can hear them up in the stands, and I can hear my teammates behind me because they were kind of on the other end of the pool yelling. And I'm just like listening, soaking it all in. And I turned around and looked at the time and saw how big of a drop it was. And my dad got the coolest picture of me just like jaw dropped in the water. Like I was flabbergasted. I had it was just, I could relive that moment for the rest of my life. And it was so cool because my dad was on the side, like taking pictures, cheering, all the coaches. And it was just like feeling that support that everyone had for me for the past 3 years of my high school swimming career, all like come to that peak was so cool. And it helped that one of my competitors, we had swam together on like a USA team during the summer. So, and she knew what my goal was. And so she leaned over, she's like, you finally did it. And like we hugged over the lane line. So
very cool.
That was definitely the best moment. It was kind of the ending like punch, but that was probably my favorite moment from high school swimming.
Well, and I think it's even more than just the 3 years of high school. I think it's all that time.
That
sixth
is true.
grade with your
That's
dad,
kind of like
and just yeah, you hit that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's an awesome story.
No,
Wow.
that was my favorite.
That's
and now
very cool.
I'm hoping I can coach the girl on the team now to break my record, because that would be a fun full circle.
That would be awesome. I love it. All right. I got to ask about teaching. You're going to be a teacher.
Yes.
And so I want to know, okay, and the swimming career was awesome. But you went to Utah Tech, St. George, Utah.
Yep.
And I think you graduated like in 3 years or
I
something. Did I
did.
see that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did it fast.
You did it fast. Here's what's cool. You've only been out of high school just a few years and you're going to
Yeah.
teach high school. Tell me about that experience. What got you into education? Why did you want to pursue education?
Swim coaching. It was literally
Okay.
coaching swim. So I had always hated babysitting, hated working with kids. Like, I didn't mind them for a little bit, but like being with a kid for more than like 3 hours, I start freaking out. I'm like, where are your parents? What do I do? I don't know what I'm doing. But something about like coaching kids in swim, because I had always loved swim and sharing that with them, I was like, wait, like I'm with them for an hour at most, maybe hour and a half or whatever. They have fun. I get to give them a good workout. And like, we're both sharing things that we love. Cause I started coaching in high school and I was coaching like some middle schoolers. So I've always been used to like having a close age gap, which is kind of fun because then you can joke about similar things. But so that was what I was like, okay, well, maybe since I love swim coaching, the only really full-time job you can get as a swim coach is if you're teaching and coaching at a high school. And so that was kind of what kickstarted my interest in that. So I originally went to school just for English, and then I took one education class just to kind of test it out and see if I liked it. Absolutely hated the elementary day that they made us go do. That was awful, being with the same kids for 8 hours and they were like clinging to my legs. I was like, give me my space. But then we went to a high school and it was so fun. Like half the time they thought I was a high schooler, but it was really fun to like be able to actually have a deep conversation with them and see their insights. And like, I'm a language arts teacher, so it's really more flexible than like math or science. Don't get me wrong, math and science are important, but language arts has
Absolutely.
a lot of flexibility to talk about people's like beliefs and perspectives, which I think is so fascinating. And just seeing where different people come from and how we can all work together and kind of not necessarily have the same opinions, but respect each other and build to work to build something together, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. And so, okay, you just graduated. You've got the job then.
Yeah.
So is it in you mentioned your community in Utah. St. George is where you graduated, but is it somewhere else? I mean, where's the
No,
school?
it's up in northern Utah.
Northern Utah. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the name of the town, if you don't mind? If I'm allowed to ask, I don't know.
Harriman. Well, Harriman Daybreak area is where my
Okay. Yeah.
parents are
Perfect.
from.
Okay.
So
Very good. Know that. So, okay. I know that area very well. Excellent.
there you go.
Okay. Good. So you're going to be there teaching language arts, you said. So English, language arts, that's going to be your all grades. Like what, seniors?
So I have 3 periods of 10th grade and 3 periods of 11th grade. It's just like regular, no
Sophomores
honors.
Okay.
Sophomores and juniors. Yeah, I don't get the honors kids as a first year teacher, unfortunately. I would love them, but
yeah. Okay.
people kind of fight over them and it's not going to the first year.
And then you're also going to be coaching swim.
Yeah, so it's really cool. So typically as a teacher, you only teach 6 classes. So I would have had the 3 10th and 3 11th. But I worked out with the school and the rec center, and I'm actually able to teach a 7th period for one semester, which is a swim class. So I get to teach all of my swimmers, and we just go to the pool and do a workout for the hour and a half.
Wow. How'd you work that out?
Well, the other schools in the district all have it. We're the only one that doesn't. So I was like, hey, look, you got a teacher now. You have to have it.
Yeah. Hey, good for you. That's
So
fantastic. Wow.
Yeah.
Any thought to how you're going to balance both roles? Because you still haven't officially done the teaching. I know you did some student teaching.
Yeah.
Did you learn a lot from that? Like, how do you think you're going to manage both?
So while I was student teaching, I also was volunteering as a swim coach with the swim team, just kind of to feel it out. The sleep schedule is definitely going to be rough because it's at 5 a.m. So I have to leave my house at like 4:30, 4:40. I don't know. We'll see how traffic is. Literally not. But I have to leave my house before 5 a.m. So I'm like, I have to wake up at like 4 a.m. to get ready and kind of look presentable because I don't want to look like a high schooler while I'm teaching high schoolers. So I'm going to have to go to bed at like 8, 9. I'm going to be such a grandma. But I think
there's nothing wrong with going to bed that early.
Yeah. So I could balance it decently well. And this first year, I'm just an assistant coach. And it helps that my dad's still the head coach there because my sister still goes to high school there. So I get to work with my dad for a year, which is super exciting. And he is definitely going to help balance a lot of it. And like the family can still help with the swim stuff. But It's going to be a lot, and I'm definitely going to have to rely on my teaching team. I student taught with them, so I have a lot of
Okay.
materials from them already.
Very good.
And they all are super nice. I was like, hey, like, I don't know what books you're teaching, all this stuff. And they like sent me their entire year-long plan and some PowerPoints and stuff. They're like, feel free to use whatever and change it. So I will definitely be borrowing and adjusting things instead of creating from scratch this first year. Maybe as I get a little more comfortable and down the road, I'll start creating from scratch, but definitely just going to borrow a lot of lesson plans and stuff from the rest of the teaching team.
I love it. Is your sister on the team?
The swim team?
Yeah.
Yeah, she is. She's going to be a senior.
Wow. Okay. Very good. So that's good. So, and she's the baby, right? That's the youngest one.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's crazy. My parents are going to have 3 high school graduates after
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
So
That'll be fun too. Then you'll have your sister there, your dad there. And I wanted to ask about that. You know, you mentioned, you talked about your dad earlier and just how he leads with love and, you know, the great example. For you personally, what's it done for your relationship with your dad?
it helped it so much because before, like, I'm still totally a mama's girl, but swimming is the one thing that, like, me and my dad can just go on for hours about. And, like, we can talk about that. And, like, that's when we get to connect is when we're working on swim stuff together. It sounds like kind of bad because it sounds like work, but for us, that's like our play because we both love swim, we both love the sport, and we both love sharing it. He's definitely more gentle-handed than me. I'm kind of more bad cop sometimes. I can be mean.
Okay. You got that relationship going. All right.
But I mean, he needs some bad cops, so I'm happy to be that for him if he wants to be the good, happy, like, nice cop. But it's helped us so much because we just, like, before we didn't really talk. Like, I would just go talk to my mom about problems. I still do. But being able to go to him and be like, hey, dad, like, I have this problem with swim. What's your suggestions? And being able to have that kind of mentor relationship, at least with swim, has been super helpful. And I've noticed that as I've swam more and spend more time with him, he is able to open up about other things. Like, we'll just be on the drive on the way to swim one morning and he'll just bring up random gospel stuff or random whatever. And so those random drives to swim at like 5 a.m. or whatever, he definitely opens up a lot more and it gives us more one-on-one time because we don't get that very often.
And I know as a father myself, I'm sure he loves that and appreciates that. So I think that's
No,
awesome
that
that he gets
was
that.
huge with us moving out. It definitely, like, I don't know where our family would be if we hadn't have made that move. So
Love it. That's fantastic. The other thing I want to touch on, and the swimming thing was great. I mean, I love the adventure of it. I mean, this is an adventure podcast, but it's ABC Adventure, swimming, you got all kinds of things. You are married now. You've been married a month.
yes,
If you go to your Instagram page, I think your profile picture is you in this beautiful wedding gown, I believe.
yes,
I think. So you're a beautiful bride, by the way. So congrats on
you.
that. High school sweetheart, right? Like, tell me about this
Yes.
relationship. How did this all come about?
That's an adventure in and of itself. So we were in the same friend group from our sophomore year. And he was the football boy. I was the swimmer of the group. It was like, we had the most random friend group. We had a band kid, theater kid, cross country kid. Like, it was the most random hodgepodge of kids. And I love them all. And my mom actually is the one who got me into that friend group, funnily enough. She was at a track meet for my sister and she saw a high schooler there and his mom, and she was talking with his mom and they were talking about how much he loves high school. And my mom was like, my daughter has no friends. Airdropped my contact to this random dude. And next thing I know, I'm going to a haunted house with them and they were my best friends all throughout high school. So that's kind of background of the friend group. We were all super random, hung out all the time together. And then I kind of was not going out on dates with guys because I had had my first kiss and it was not a good experience. The guy ghosted me like a week later and I was just like, men suck. I'm done for the rest of high school. Like, no. And my friends, being them, we were at a hangout and me and my now husband were sitting on opposite ends of the couch. So they, like friends do, decide to like shift in and like scooch it so that Gage is sitting next to me. And they're all texting both of us like, put your arm around her, lean your head on him, blah, 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 blah. I got up and left. I was like, okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I was like, I'm done because I was just like, I'm not getting in a relationship. Like, I'm just going to get out of here. Well, turns out my friends were right. I was a really good fit with him. And so I ended up asking him, we went to a dance before that. And so then I ended up like asking him to hang out all throughout the summer and it was just big group hangouts. And I still at that point didn't admit that I liked him. I was just like, oh no, like he's just fun to hang out with.
Yeah, part of
My
the
mom
group.
realized I liked him way in advance because he was making fun of me for something and I just started bawling. And she's like, "Why are you crying over a guy? You must like him." I'm like, "No, I don't. Like, it's fine." I sound like such a crybaby. I don't know. I guess I'm an emotional person. But we hung out over the summer. We were actually just talking about this yesterday. And there was a day where it was me, 2 girls, and then him and 2 other guys. So it was 3 and 3. So unintentional group date. That's how it usually ended up going. We went thrifting, super fun, took the most random pictures up Butterfield Canyon. That was like our hangout spot. And then he had to go to work. And so we were all hanging out and at the park across the street from his work until he got off. And it starts downpouring right when he gets off work. And everyone's like, "Let's leave, let's leave." And I'm like, "No, like, let's play around in the rain." And Gage at the time was just like, "Yeah, let's totally do it. Like, let's lay in the street and like play in the rain." And I was like, "Wait, what?" I don't know what it was about him just being willing to stay and like have an adventure and play in the rain that I was like, "He's kind of cute. I think I like him." But it was what flipped it. And I was like, "Oh, wait, I kind of like him." So then lots of drama later. He ends up asking me to homecoming. After I told him I liked him, because like I sent him a nice, like a long text one night and was like, "Hey, like I like you." Ignored me for 6 hours, like over 6 hours. Like we slept, I went to swim, I went to school and saw him at school, nothing. Didn't text me, didn't say anything. And I was freaking out. I was like, "This guy doesn't like me. Like, I'm so stupid. Why did I text him that?" And like total meltdown. Sweet mom brought me and my friends lunch and we like ate outside. And that's when he knew, like, oh crap, I messed up. So that ended up working out. We went on our first date, just a cute little movie. And after homecoming, we ended up being boyfriend and girlfriend for all of senior year. I think that was 10 months. And then he left on an LDS mission in Washington for 2 years. And I had told him when he left, I'm like, "Hey, only thing I'm promising you is one date." I was kind of a brat. I was like, "You're just getting one date, like one guaranteed date when you get back, and you have to plan it. And while you're gone, I don't want you to expect me to like not date anybody. Like, I want to have my own adventures and do my own thing." And I did at least the last 6 months of his mission. First 18, though, I was definitely like voice
Staying
memos every
strong.
month. Oh, yeah. No, it was voice memos every month. He could call for a little bit of his mission. So we were FaceTime. Like, it was, we
Wow.
were basically dating. And then I don't know what happened last 6 months. I was like, "All right, I need a date. Go crazy." I had like 3 or 4 dates a week at least for the last, it was crazy. I don't know what happened. And then he came back on the 24th of July, actually. So I went to a barbecue with his family.
So about a
I
year
didn't go to
ago.
the, yeah, about a year ago, actually. I know. He came home, basic missionary, I guess. Came home, got married. We didn't count that as our date, but he took me to ice cream in a park to kind of talk a week later. And that was our first date. And we kind of talked and I was like, "Hey, like, what are you thinking? Like, if we get back together, like, it's because we're planning on getting married. Like, I'm not going to just date you for fun. I'm going down to St. George. You're at BYU. Like, I'm not doing long distance for nothing." And he was like, "Okay, well, I kind of think I want to date at BYU and just see what it's like." Because I'm his first kiss, first girlfriend, first everything.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So sweet. I love him. But I was like, "Okay, well, just so you know, like, if you're going to go to BYU and date, I'm not waiting around. I will go to Utah Tech and I will date. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not waiting for that." Just because I'm not someone that believes in like soulmates. I'm someone that believes like, okay, love is something like 2 people really care for each
Work
other and
at.
we're going to keep, yeah, we work at it and we choose it. It's not just like, "Oh, we're meant to be together. It has to be this." And if you pick the wrong person, you're never going to find anyone again.
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Okay, well, if you're going to go out and date, I am also going to go out and date." And that got his brain going. He was like, "Oh, wait, I actually don't want you to date other people. Like, let's do this." And so from kind of that on, we were together. And my mom has this list of marriage questions that we went through, and he helped me move into my dorm in Utah Tech. And we were going through all of them while we were packing and stuff. Oh, that's long story short of that.
Wow. Amazing. And Gage is his name.
Yeah.
Is he still going to BYU? Is he done with BYU? Kind of what's
He's
his
got
status?
3 more years at BYU.
Okay. What's he studying?
Statistics.
Ooh, okay. All right.
I know.
We
He's
got the
got math and
teacher, we got the
numbers.
statistician going.
I know. I'm like, "I can do the books and the reading. You do the numbers and stuff, please, and thank you."
How do you think, your marriage has influenced your journey, as a swimmer, as a coach, as a teacher? Has there been any relationship there? What's it done for you?
That's been something that's super interesting. So because we're high school sweethearts, we were both kind of each other's biggest cheerleaders. I would go to all of his football and rugby games, and he would come to a lot of swim meets. And swim meets are long. Like, we're talking over 2 hours. Like, I feel like rugby games and stuff, like, they're entertaining the whole time. I'm not swimming the whole 2 hours. I just swim for, like, maybe 5 minutes of it. So him sitting there for 2 hours and just, like, seeing him up in the stands, and he would, like, have his phone out because he knew I liked watching my races back, and he'd write down all my splits and, like, love looking at the numbers for me. He's like, "Well, if you just drop this many seconds on this 25, then you'll break the school record." And, like,
The stat
just,
guy.
like, the stat guy, totally. And so him supporting me in that way and me being loud and obnoxious, like painting his number on my cheeks, was kind of our way of cheering each other on. And that was kind of a fun dating phase for us. And now, obviously, he is coming to swim meets and he helps me pass out all of the swim team shirts. And he's like, okay, let me learn how to be a timer, learn how to work the computer system. And he's always super, super willing to kind of help out and serve me in that way, which I love, because sometimes, like, around the house, there's things that he just doesn't know how to do yet, or he just can't do. And, like, I want it done a specific way. And I'm like, no, like, just don't touch it. And so swim stuff, he's really good at picking it up because it is a lot of computers and stats and his strengths. And so seeing him serve me in that way has been super, super cool.
I love it. Yeah, especially us guys, we struggle a little bit. Sometimes we have to learn some things. So
Yeah.
be patient with him. He'll get there.
I'm working on it. Hey, I got him to make the bed every morning, so that's a win.
Positive.
Yeah.
I love it. The other thing I wanted to touch on, when I look at your Instagram account, I see a lot of importance of your faith and the importance of God in your life. Talk a little bit about that and how that's all kind of what it means to you in your life.
So God has always been my rock, and I struggled a lot when I was younger because I've grown up religious and, like, kind of relied on my parents' testimony. And that was really hard for me, hearing all these people talk about, like, yeah, I wasn't a member and then I came back, and I was like, where's my, like, I lost my faith and then I came back. So, like, I thought I needed to, like, fall away to come back. But I went to EFY one year and they're like, no, like, just pray and ask if God loves you. Like, that's totally fine. Like, it's okay not to know everything. You can just have faith in stuff. And, like, EFY was
EFY is especially for youth. It's a youth
yeah. So
program
now
for the
it's
church.
kind of more FSY is what they call it. But when
For
I
strength
went,
of
it was
youth,
EFY. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So they told us, and it was the Sunday day. And so it was a very spiritual day. It's like kind of the pinnacle moment where it's like, all right, this is testimony day. Like, let's go. Like, here's all this Jesus stuff, even though the whole week is like Jesus classes and all this stuff. That's the day where it's like, you wear your Sunday best and, like, bunch of testimonies. You have your testimony meeting. And they were like, okay, we're just going to give you like 10, 15 minutes, go off on your own, write in your journal, pray. And I was like, okay, I'm going to pray and be like, okay, God, do you love me? And I did. And I got zero answer. Nothing. And I was like, am I doing it wrong? Like, what's happening? So I was like, I'm just going to pray again. And I did. And I was, like, super distracted. Like, I was, the, like, half open prayer that you do when you're, like, trying to watch people around you to make sure you're not getting judged. I was doing that totally. So not in the moment. And then finally I was like, okay, I'm going to do this one more time and I'm going to mean it. And so I literally, like, pictured the Savior standing in front of me. I closed my eyes and said a prayer and just, like, pictured myself talking to him. And immediately when I opened my eyes, this, like, ray of sunshine, and I love sun. So the sun just, like, hit me in the face, and, like, biggest feeling of peace and, like, warmth came over. And I was like, wait, like, I am loved all the time. This is cool. So that's kind of been my, like, foundation for that. And just whenever I'm going through something, whether it's with swimming or with my family or with marriage, knowing that I have a Heavenly Father and a Savior who loves me is always going to be my rock. And that is something that I didn't realize was hugely important until I realized how many, like, when people don't have it, like, where does that inner confidence come from? Because my inner confidence comes from knowing that I am a daughter of God, because God loves me. I'm here for a reason, and He's not going to let me go astray. He's going to help me grow from whatever experience I have. And so His love for me is kind of that foundation. Obviously, like, I have other stuff and, like, scriptures and service and all that stuff, but the Savior's love is that kind of cornerstone for me. And that's always been what I turn back to when I'm having a faith crisis or when I'm having troubles. And even with sports or jobs or literally anything, I can just be like, okay, the Lord loves me. I'm going to trust in Him and trust that He wants what's best for me because He loves me and because I am His child.
I love the fact that you go to the fact that you're a daughter of God. You're so many things. You're a teacher. You're a daughter to your parents, a sister to your sisters. You're a swimmer. You're a coach, but you're a daughter of God. And I love how that's super important to you, that's like an important part of who you are. I think that's amazing.
Love that. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
A lot of times on this podcast, I don't have a lot who do share that. So I like the fact that
That
you
is
can
like
share
my
that.
favorite thing. I know. I'm kind of nervous with like teaching if I can still post stuff like that on my page because I haven't. My page is. I'm like I don't know what I'm allowed to post and what I can't post anymore as a
I haven't even
teacher.
thought of that because I enjoy the page because it is a lot of fun. In fact, before I got just a few other little questions.
Okay.
One thing I don't think I even asked you, and maybe you said it, and I apologize if you didn't. Jumping back to swimming real quick. What is your event? What's your best event?
I am a 100 breaststroker, so I would do the 100 breast and 200 IM.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So breaststroke was my event, and so my name is still on our school record board for the 100 breaststroke, and it is like my one crowning achievement. So
but you're hoping you could coach someone maybe to break
I
that.
want her to break it so bad. She is so close, and I've been kind of coaching her. I just hope she breaks it this year when I'm like fully a coach, because then it's like, oh, I have to break it. Like I broke it, and then I hope someone else break it. It's kind of like. It's a little selfish for me, but I'm also like, it's fun. Like records are meant to be broken, but it's fun when you can have a part in helping people break it.
Yeah, and that's great. I think it's fun that you said what the event is because I was after talking for a while, I'm like, wait a minute,
You're like, wait,
is it freestyle?
No, sorry,
Is it,
that's my bad for not
No,
saying
I didn't
that.
even think about it either. I'm like, okay, that very good breaststroke. That's awesome. All right, if people want to follow along with your journey, I think I've already said it, but yeah, where can people follow along?
Yeah, at Mixed Swim, so at MCK_swims. The tag name's MK. So
MK.
I'm on TikTok, Instagram.
All right.
That's pretty much it.
Did you say Mixed Swims? I've been saying MCK
Mixed
the whole
Swims.
time.
Mixed MCK, Swims. I mean.
Your name's, McKella, so that makes sense. Okay,
yeah.
Mixed Swims. I actually
started that page originally to get recruited by colleges for swimming.
Oh, okay,
so
that's why the whole swims is there.
Yeah,
okay.
And I just haven't changed it because I'm still a swim coach and it's still part of my personality.
Sense who you are.
But yeah, it was originally started to get recruited by colleges, and then I decided I wanted to stay in Utah, and all Utah schools are D1 colleges, which means I would have had to drop 5 more seconds on my 100 breaststroke to even be considered.
It's amazing. That is so fast. Wow.
They're insane. Watching them is like the most amazing thing ever. Like they're so fun to watch.
That's incredible. I can't even imagine that. We had one son who's swam.
Really?
Not very fast, but the whole COVID thing happened to him his freshman year.
It is rough.
Yeah, and so and then we moved, and so he kind of just never got into it again. But
it's hard, and swimming's not something you can really do at home. Like runners,
thrive
during COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
Swimmers not so much.
Yeah. And speaking of running, I know you do running. I mean, you do all kinds of stuff. You're an adventurous person. You're a hiker. You do all sorts of things. We didn't even touch on that because I really wanted to focus on the swimming and a little bit about the ABC. So, and we've been talking a long time here, so I'm not going to take too much of your time. But
You're fine.
I do want to find out if you could go back and you could see the younger McKella and talk to her, what's one thing you would tell her? Maybe an 11-year-old McKella or something.
11-year-old McKella. I feel like I would tell her to, like, it's okay to talk more. Because I was pretty talkative around my family, but I didn't really talk to people. And so I would tell her, like, it's okay to, like, just be yourself. People aren't going to judge you. Because I would have my book and read underneath my desk instead of talking to friends during, like, rainy day in elementary. So I would just tell her, like, hey, who you are is okay. Yourself is beautiful and awesome, and I love you. And you've got this, and other people are going to love you too. So get out there and meet some people. Find your tribe.
Find your tribe, meet some people. Do you think you were shy? Do you think that was part of it? You were just kind of shy?
A little bit. The big thing was moving, because I had great friends before we moved.
Okay.
And we had lived in that house all growing up. I think I was 10 so 11 was like that year after we moved. And it was a new place, like new house. I was very overwhelmed. And so living in a new place, I was definitely shy for that first year. I've definitely opened up and gotten more comfortable, but that very, very first year, I was like just trying to soak it all in and like get used to not knowing what street I was walking on. Because I had grown up in those neighborhoods. I could just walk across the street and grab some sugar from the neighbors. But I came here and I was like we moved 30 minutes away and I was like, I don't know any of my neighbors. I don't know where I am. And so not having that built in, like my family was the only people I knew.
Yeah.
It was kind of hard from going from this like huge tribe of like play groups and dinner groups and neighbors that would just invite us over for tea parties all the time to nobody was a big shock for me. So I think I would just tell 11-year-old me that it's all going to be okay and just keep meeting people and being yourself.
Love it. That's great. And then for the final thing, you've had a beautiful journey so far, and the journey is going to keep going. You got a lot of years ahead of you, swimmer to coach, teacher, wife now is on the docket there.
Yeah.
What do you hope people take away when they hear your story, when they listen to this episode? What kind of things do you hope people take away about you?
That's a hard one. I feel like I just hope that they take away that you can learn something from anybody. Because yes, I am young. I'm a young coach. I'm a young teacher. I'm a young wife. But just because someone's age does not mean you can learn from them. And I think that's also goes for you can learn something from people that have different beliefs, that are from different places, that speak different languages, and just kind of take that openness of, okay, what can I learn from this person and what can I teach them? Because we're all on the same team. We're all just trying to survive life together. So if people can learn anything from me, I hope it's that you can learn something and teach everyone.
I love it. McKella, thank you so much for coming on Journey with Jake.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jake.
A big thank you to McKella Leeper for joining me and sharing her story from her days in the pool to her new adventures as a teacher, coach, and wife. Be sure to follow McKella on Instagram at MCK_swims to keep up with her inspiring journey. Thank you so much, McKella. And of course, thank you for tuning in and being part of Journey with Jake. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd be so grateful if you shared it with a friend, left a rating or review, or post about it on social media. It really helps others discover the show. Don't miss next week's episode with Tom Barrett. Tom is facing stage 4 cancer, but he's not letting that stop him from living a life full of purpose, passion, and adventure. It's an episode you won't want to miss. Until next time, just remember, it's not always about the destination, as it is about the journey. Take care, everybody.